I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Howdy ho, howdy hey. The game day is officially here. It's officially here. 2024 Buccaneers season is here. 2 weeks away from college football. I should be at the Bucs Bengals game today. Sadly, had to cancel because a couple things came up. But damn it, we could still talk about it. We could still talk about college football, NFL football, and so much more on our new 2024 Saturday Showdown Kickoff show. We're going to be here live every Saturday morning. Got a little late start today, but moving forward, it will be 10:30 a.m. Eastern time every Saturday, and we're going to bring you everything from Buccaneers football previews, Bucs Bets, where we go in depth and give our suggestions on some Bucs Bets you can make. Then weekly, Joey Nips from the Cleve and Me podcast is going to be joining us for the back end of the show, where we'll answer your questions on fantasy football. We'll talk NFL football, college football, and so much more. We're going to have great guests throughout the year, former NFL players, Sports Illustrated writers, podcast hosts, memorabilia collectors, FIU football coaches, and so much more. So it's going to be a really fun year here in our 2024 Saturday Showdown Buccaneers NFL and NCAA football preview weekend shows. Today we got a lot to talk about. Bucs-wise, NFL-wise, NCAA-wise, and so much more. Only 2 weeks away from college football, week 0 hitting the scene. But today, first and foremost, J-Lo, Buccaneers football is back. Bengals Bucs back in action. And for football aficionados, this is actually a fun matchup because although you don't get Mayfield or Burrow, you do get Trask, Browning, Wolford. You still get some suitable quarterback options ready to roam.
Hey, good morning, Tones. But Joe Burrow's playing today. I've been hearing reports he's going to play a drive or two. So
yeah, he'll play a drive or two, but for the majority of the game, I'm saying.
Gotcha. Either way, I'm all about Buccaneer football. It's game day. We're finally here, and I'm pumped.
Browning showed it pretty well last year for these Bengals Cats as well, so the defense will still be tested with Browning.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Browning was fun to watch. I believe he went to Washington. He's a former Husky, I believe. He was pretty enjoyable to watch, and he's a legit good backup. So it should be a lot of fun, watching these backups go at it and watch these young rookies showcase, their talents like Bucky Irving. I think we're going to see a lot of Chris Braswell today, too, as well. I just want to throw that out there.
The young guns will be ready to roam today. That's going to be incredible. I'm really looking forward to the UDFAs getting their toes wet. Speaking of getting their toes wet, we got a couple of fellas joining us here early on. The great Christopher Cole. Morning, everyone. Morning, Chris. And our great friend Hearn. Go Bucks and Bear down. So he's ready for Bucks football, Bears football. J-Lo, since it got brought up quickly, Caleb Williams takes the field today. We didn't see him in the Hall of Fame game. Who knows if we see him today, how long he'll play today. If we do see him, might be one of those things where he's in out all about. But Bears, Bills should be fun nonetheless. Rome Odunze is definitely playing today. I think this Bears team has a couple of good potential faces out there. Real quick, 30 seconds thoughts on Caleb Williams and this Bears team.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Hopefully he'll at least get a quarter in. I mean, you got to get this kid going if you're expecting to be your starter for the season. I like Rome Odunze. I can't wait to watch it. That's going to be a fun treat before our Bucs play today. I'm looking forward to watching him, also catching other games as well. But Caleb Williams, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about him for the most part.
Yeah, Chicago is high hope. 7:45 a.m. here in LA. Thank you, Richard. Pour your coffee. Get with us. Stay with us.
Good
And
morning.
join us on Saturday mornings moving forward. We hope we could be your Buccaneers pregame show and your football pregame show in totality each and every Saturday. Going to have a ton of great guests here weekly. And obviously, all the OGs will be here as well. The whole Buccaneers gang will be subbing in and out. Katz will be rejoining us soon. For those of you wondering, hey, where the hell has Katz been? He will be back in the fold very, very soon on the Buccaneers. Speaking of in the fold, J-Lo, we do have a game in the fold. As Richard said, let's fucking go. I'm only going to correct the G to a B. Let's fucking bake, right? Or no, well, whatever. But Baker Mayfield's ready to roll, but he won't be rolling today, J-Lo. Thoughts on Kyle Trask getting the start over Wolford here? And what could be Trask last season as a Buccaneer, let's be honest, there's no guarantees after this year. And that doesn't even mean Trask will get an opportunity somewhere else. But at that point, could be about paydays for the big guy. Thoughts on Trask ready to roll today against this Bengals team?
I'm excited for him. I've always been a big fan of Trask. Can't wait to watch him. I think he's going to be a phenomenal backup this year. God forbid Baker goes down, I'll feel comfortable with Trask running the show. But yeah, let the man go out there, showcase his talent. For maybe another team next off season. Because obviously Baker's our guy, and I'm all aboard with that. But Trask, it'll be interesting to see how he does. I mean, I think him and McMullen are gonna have a fun time. Connecting the ball to each other, and then Trey Palmer as well.
And Emily has a great question. Hi, everyone. Good morning, Emily. Thank you for joining us here in the Buccaneers. We do appreciate it. How much of Bucky Irving, and not Kyrie Irving, for those wondering, the basketball player, how much of the great Bucky Irving do you think we will see tonight? 1/4, 2, 3 plus? I think we're going to see him sub in and out periodically throughout the first couple of quarters. I think we'll see him get plenty of snaps, but I think in totality, he'll be out there at least subbing to some capacity, J-Lo, for at least 2 of the quarters, in my opinion.
I say give him a half, because I don't even think Rashad White's going to play tonight. They're probably
So
going to
we're
go
on
back.
the same page. 2 quarters equals
Yes,
1/2.
sir. I'm all for it. I can't wait. That kid's going to be fun to watch.
And I don't think Edmonds will play tonight either, as he's been hurt. So there's no reason to force him in tonight.
I think I agree. I think we'll see more of Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker the first half, and then we'll see the other 2 running backs, UDFAs, in the second half.
Christopher has a great comment. Devin White getting manhandled by second team O lineman is laughable. If you guys did miss last week's show, well, actually this week's show, but a couple shows ago, because KB and Gene, Kenny Barrett and the great Gene, went live on Thursday night with a Buck What You Heard takeover. Those are always fun. But then the night before, J-Lo and myself and Gene were on talking about Devin White. He was in meltdown mode, complete whack-a-mole mode. He's in meltdown mode. So if you missed it, go check out the pod from Wednesday night, where we do discuss Devin White being in meltdown mode. And he's been embarrassing this offseason, saying a lot of lies and whatnot. But we're here to talk about the good stuff today, and that's Bucs Bengals and J-Lo, a roster battle I'm looking to see as a tight end room, as Richard seems to agree with me. Devin Culp, J-Lo, I've brought him up before as my rookie to watch out for, because at first you were here for the draft. We did live draft coverage from the Chicagoland area. It was very close to the draft, but Devin Culp, I was like, I don't know if I would have went tight end there, because we had 3 young tight ends, but very quickly I grew on to Devin Culp. I've seen his athleticism, and I've seen a lot of good stuff there. So when I was looking at the film and tape, I'm like, this tight end room's going to – hold on a minute. We got a Bengals fan in the house. We'll welcome you. FFC Babo, we're not a lowlife like you. We're not going to say Bengals suck you. I see your little Jamar Chase profile picture. That's okay, but we're not rude like you. We welcome all fans. We welcome you. Even though you're rude, we welcome you. Right, J-Lo?
Yeah, of course we do. Enjoy not having a Super Bowl either while you're at it, buddy.
But we'll welcome you. Hey, let's not get dirty. We're not throwing insults here. We welcome all. We welcome all. We welcome all fans. We welcome you, FFC Bobo. Thanks for joining our Bucs Bengals show. You were rude. We're not going to be rude. But Richard says Devin Culp. Back to Devin Culp, J-Lo. I'm very interested to see how our tight end room shakes out, because as we talked last week, I don't think we'll hold 4 tight ends. Joey Nips pointed out, who will be joining us here, by the way, in about 20 minutes live now here on our Saturday Showdown kickoff show. But he pointed out in the comments, Colts were probably the only team in the NFL to do that throughout the league last season. I don't think we carry 4. I don't know. What say you? In Devin Culp's role, I think he's intriguing. Sadly, as much as I like the guy, I think O'Keefe might be the one battling for his roster spot. What say you?
No, I agree. Keith, I got a lot of love for him, being on the team the last couple of seasons. But I
I was
really
at
think,
his first career touchdown against Cleveland, by the way.
oh yeah, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah,
I
but
kept screaming, "Say it ain't so, coach! Say it ain't so!"
but Devin Colt's got a really golden opportunity to make that roster spot as the tight end number 3. Because Payne Durham, don't sleep on him either. He's a
Him and
long
Otten
term.
are pretty much locks, you would say, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Keep going, though, with your
Oh,
analysis. So I just
sorry.
wanted to ask that quick.
Yeah, but I think Devin Culp, if he balls out, which I think he will, I think we're going to see a lot of him tonight for sure. Coming in probably second or not second half, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot of showcasing with these tight ends. Keith may surprise us. We never know. But at the same time, you can't just be a good blocking tight end. You're going to have to make plays. Not that he hasn't, but we saw a couple of times that, he had trouble getting open or not getting to the ball when Baker was trying to connect to him. But
Do you
Devin
think
Cole,
the problem is, J-Lo, I do think Coe's the odd man out, but I think we can't really hide him on the practice squad. I think he'll be snatched up quick if we do.
oh yeah, as a blocking tight end, he's phenomenal. And a lot of teams look for that. They like to run the ball, and he'd be the perfect candidate. But you never know. I mean, hopefully if he does get released, or get cut, hopefully he can go in the practice squad and be an emergency tight end. God forbid, because injuries happen. Unfortunately, you never know.
And that's why I will be interested to see how the Bucs carry this, because they never like to waste a pick. Obviously, a couple years back, we seen Andre Anthony get picked with the last pick. He didn't make it out of preseason. But Christopher Cole has another fun question. I'm interested in seeing Deloach, and although he was your rival in college, J-Lo, it's no lie that he has been a hell of a performer this preseason to this point, training camp and all that good stuff. Deloach is one of these guys, and again, just like Tyreek Funderburk, just like Latrell Jones, and then the past couple of years, Christian Izzy and Rakim Jarrett and those, he has a good chance to make this roster as an undrafted free agent. Thoughts on Deloach and the battle he's causing for guys like Servachier Dennis, J.J. Russell? At one point, maybe those guys were certainly a lock on this roster. Now they got Deloach breathing down their neck, and I've been very impressed with this kid. He's been very good, J-Lo, very good.
Couldn't agree more. Like I mentioned about Funderburg, I think Deloach has a chance to see playing time because Savasi Dennis has already been injured already. He's probably not going to play tonight. So we'll be seeing a lot of Deloach for sure. And him being number 2 on the depth chart behind, I believe, Lavonte David is really impressive. I mean, kudos to Jason Light and the scout team for locating this kid and was ready to pick him up right away. So shout
Let's
out to
make it
them.
known, though, not to cut you off, J-Lo, but the initial depth chart's going to be very fluid, as our great friend JC Allen always says.
Yes, absolutely. But just the fact that he was number 2 on the depth chart just to begin with, I mean, that's impressive to me. Because J.J. Russell, I think, was somebody who came on the best he could when his number was called in that one game against the Panthers. So, but we'll see. We'll see, man. It's competition, bring out the best in everyone. And Deloach so far is winning the battle, I feel.
Yeah, and he's doing a hell of a job. And I was really impressed when J.J. Russell had to step in last year. You know who I'll be glad not to see in a Bucs uniform, and although I respected his service, a game where he had to step up, J-Lo, how nice will it be? Obviously, Devin White, we talked about him, but Ryan Neal, that guy was just not very good, and he made a lot of bad plays. Between him and Devin White off the field alone, they might not be missing many tackles these days.
Well, he's still a free agent. I don't even think he's even got a workout or a chance to even try to, go work out and make a team.
What a
The guy
fall
was,
from grace, man.
unfortunately, I mean, he was a liability in coverage. And then that Lions game, that was the final straw. When he got shipped by that tight end, I was like, oh, God, get this guy on the field. I mean, I'm at the point to where put a corner at his position, even if they don't have experience, because this guy is just toast, burnt toast.
Burnt toast, milk toast, whatever you want to call him. But Bucs fans were very happy with the signing last year, but that's probably why we got him so cheap. They're not airing the Bucs Bengals game here in LA. Richard, if you'll be home, DM me. I might have a solution for you. I'm not sure if it'll work for you, but I might have a solution. Feel free to DM me or the program. If you need to DM me, get at me on X at Tampatones, TAMPATONES. I might have some solutions for you. I'll see if I can work my magic for you. FFC Bobo, I get mad that some people aren't Bengals fans. Don't get mad. I mean, it's a part of the world. It's a part of the NFL. It's a part of being a football fan. We love this, man. We kid around. We joke around. We love to stir the pot a little bit. So nothing personal. We appreciate your fandom for the Bengals, like I said earlier. We appreciate you being here, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Keith won't get past waivers because the Panthers will get him. J-Lo, Panthers, that would make a lot of sense. Canellis already has poached guys like Devin Tompkins and David Moore to this point. I could see them doing the same with whatever tight end may end up getting cut. Necessarily, maybe not Devin Culp because they don't have ties, but I don't think Culp gets cut. So
Could be. I mean, Davy Boy likes to pluck former players he coached, but we'll see. I mean, honestly, Keith can go anywhere, depending on the waiver wire and everything. Because I think he'll be pretty popular for other teams. So hopefully he doesn't go to the Panthers, because I would hate to play against him. But if he does, then it is what it is. We're just gonna have to pancake him and hate on for 2 games.
yeah,
Rivalry.
we're ready for him regardless.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, even if he does get picked up, he probably won't see much playing time because Davy Boy, not very good at setting up the run play, but we'll see. His team looked so hot the other night, so, best of luck to him.
You know what I love about preseason games as well, J-Lo, our announce crew of Chris Myers and Rondé Barber. I think they do an incredible job together. I got to hang with them a couple weeks ago, not a couple weeks, I'm sorry, a couple of years ago in Indianapolis before Colts Bucs preseason game. They're a hoot. They're a lot of fun. As Nikki's joining, hi all, go Bucs, love the pod. Thanks, Nikki. But thoughts on the local broadcast team, J-Lo?
Oh, for sure. You can't go wrong with Rondé Barber, true legend, who loves the organization and is a good mentor for some of these young players that he talks to on the team. And Myers, I've always enjoyed his commentary. I just, he's a true good one to listen to. And it makes the preseason fun, You get to hear the expertise from these two that strictly talk about Buccaneer football, and that's what I love.
Tonight's game is at 7 o'clock Eastern. Friendly reminder, 6 o'clock Central. Or if you are Richard on the West Coast, it will be, or on the Pacific Coast, it will be 4 o'clock. And J-Lo, we're going to get into some Bucs bets here. Not too thoroughly for preseason, but we still like to talk about bets because if you guys were with us for breakfast on the Buccaneers last year, which we still might do occasionally this year, but the Saturday Showdown is going to be the main pregame show we do come to you with, but we always did our Bucs bets, and that segment ain't going anywhere, J-Lo. If we dig into this Bucs game, I'm going to ask you a couple questions here. Bucs are plus 6.5 tonight. Are you taking that 6.5 points in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though it's a preseason game? So if you bet on the Bucs, they start up 6.5-0. Are you willing to roll with that bet?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely roll that one for sure.
How about the money line? If you're feeling risky, it's times 210. So say you put $10 on the game, you'd win $21 if the Buccaneers win. Are you feeling that?
I really do. I think we got a way better depth and backup more than the Bengals do. From my standpoint of view, I feel that our depth is better. I feel like if the Bengals lost a couple of their players, they would be in bad shape. So yeah, I think the Bucs can pull the win, and I would throw 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw some money. I'm gonna throw some on both. A little bit on the spread, a little bit on the money line. Some people go, "Oh, you bet preseason, guys." this is where your betting kinks get kinked out. We're not talking about throwing 20, 30, 40 bucks on these things. 5 or 10 will do. And that's why I'm stretching right now. This is practice time. You got to get your preseason bets and you got to get used to it again. You got to get the money flowing. You got to just get some juice on it. So, preseason ball, don't throw a lot on it, but $1 here, $3 here, $5 here. Not the end of the world, guys. Not especially a lot of underdogs have big money lines, and in preseason, it's a Dan coin flip. It's really a coin flip in preseason. Oh, they're showing the game in LA, 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. Just buy yourself some Red Bull, maybe a little bit of Tito's to go along with that as well. Bengals should have won that Super Bowl if it wasn't for some bad calls. Yeah, we could say that. We could say that. I'm not in disagreement with you, but I feel like there's always a bad call that you could point out along a journey somewhere and probably point back to the same thing. But not disagreeing with you, Chris. They did get gypped. And let's remember Mahomes and Brady, Brady and Burrow, only 2 guys to take down Mahomes in the playoffs at some sort of capacity. Thank you, Hunch. I appreciate it. It's signed by some guys as well. It's signed by KJ Britt, actually, so that's a really good one. But then it's also signed by a couple of guys not here anymore. Pat O'Connor, longtime Buccaneer, did go back to the Lions in case anybody missed that. And then also signed by Keanu Neal, who didn't have a long stint here as well. J-Lo, did you see or actually, let's do our last Bucs bets quick. Total over-under points for the game, 38 points. Do you think the Bucs and Bengals get over 38 points, under 38 points? Where would you go with that one?
Under. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I think they'll probably hit maybe 20 altogether at best, just because I feel it's going to be low-scoring. So I say under.
And we do miss you, Huncho. We can't wait to have you back on the show as well, brother. We hope all is well with you. Just great to hear from you. So,
absolutely. Good to hear from you, Hunch.
We can't wait till – guys, that's what I'm saying. It's our first Saturday Showdown, me, J-Lo, and Joey Nips. But I'm telling you, moving forward, we're going to get cats back in the fold. Huncho, Stunner will be popping up more. Maybe a Seminoles boy, Bucko the Bruce. You never know. And then in terms of guests, going to have the great JCL and appearances. Anthony Gator is going to join us in the near future. We're going to have memorabilia collectors, former players, and so much more. But J-Lo, what roster move intrigued you more? Lions signing Pat O'Connor or 49ers signing Keyshawn Vaughn?
I say 49ers signing Keyshawn Vaughn because he really struggled here. It'll be interesting to see if he can make that roster and maybe be successful in Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Will you treat today like a regular season game, J-Lo? Say if it, like, are you going to be drinking what you normally do on game day? You're going to be having your eats on game day? Are you going to be doing your game day traditions? Or is today one of those days where, it's just preseason, so you'll do it how you want to do it?
I say semi, not go all out, but like
so a little bit of both.
Yeah, maybe bring the air fryer out, get creative with that.
Oh, so you're treating it like a preseason game. You're in a good way though. You're treating it like a regular season game, but you're testing out things. It's like us today,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, plus gotta keep my oldest occupied, so that's pretty much creative. And plus, I haven't changed my propane tank, so that's another reason why as well. So mostly indoor kitchen and and just doing some little small.
Yeah, and what I like about preseason games and why I miss not going today. Again, I was supposed to go. Family things pop up, stuff happens. What can you do? But J-Lo, the preseason game atmosphere is fun because it feels like a party out there. It's, regardless of your team winning or losing, it's awesome. And Richard says he wants to see Chris Braswell on defense. So, J-Lo, that leads me to my next point. Player to watch for today for you. For Richard, it's Braswell. Who's your player to look out for today, and what is your score prediction? Even though it's only preseason, what's your Bucs Bengals score prediction for preseason week 2?
I'll throw out a couple of people. I'll throw one on each side of the ball. I say Bucky Irving on the offense side of the ball. I think we're going to see a lot of carries out of him. And then on the defense side of the ball, I say Chris Braswell. I think we're going to see a lot of him and see what we have in him for the most part. So I do agree with Richard. As far as the final score goes, I say Bucs 20, Bengals 13.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing a couple of players as well. Friend of the show's Tyreek Funderburk's been getting a lot of praise lately. I'm looking forward to see what he does today. Undrafted cornerback out of Appalachian State, long length, great athleticism. He's a ball hawk, had 4 interceptions last season, returned a couple of them for touchdowns. He's very physical out there, very fast out there. So I'm looking forward to see how he fits in defensively. I think our cornerback room is uniquely deep. We have a lot of depth there, I think. I will say that. So interested to see how Tyreek Funderburk works on his way to cracking the roster, because I do think he does crack the roster. Then offensively, I'm looking out for a couple of guys, and one of the wide receivers I'm going to look out for because he's been on this team. A couple people might be like, that's an interesting one. But again, these are meant for roster battles. These are meant for those types of things. So I'm not going to pick an obvious one. Ryan Miller, they've kept around a little bit. He was a UDFA last season. He's turned some heads this preseason as well. Him and Latrell Jones seemingly might be battling out for a practice squad spot. I'm interested to see how that works out. Killa says Tyke Smith. I think he's going to be an incredible safety this year, J-Lo. Then Emily has a question. Do you think we see some real play on the new kickoffs for the newness of it, or do we hold back on it at all? What's your thoughts on that, J-Lo? One thing with the kickoff, I think we're going to see a lot more activity on it, a lot more action on it. I think you're going to see some big returns being broke. I think people will be used to it by the time it gets to week 5, week 6 again. It seems like NFL sets in a new rule, or MLB sets in a new rule, and it takes getting used to at first. But once you're used to it, I feel like you get accustomed to it. It's just new. I think NFL might tweak some things along the way, but I don't think they'll hold it back. And I think a lot of the fans will adjust as well. And quick, I guess my score prediction will be 20 to 14 Bucs. I'll go with. Let's roll with that.
Bet. Good question, Emily. I agree with Tones. I think it might take a little bit adjustment, and it really depends who's returning the ball for the Bucs. They're going to put Bucky Irvin back there, maybe Latrell Jones in the second half. I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's probably going to be his best bet to showcase his talent. But really good question, Emily. Shout out to you on that one, definitely.
Yeah, and Christopher, I think we're in the same boat as you. Preseason is like scouting. Exactly. I use it. That's how I fell in love with Marquise Watts last year, and now he has a very legitimate chance to make the roster, make an impact this season as an edge rusher. He was a UDFA last year as well. Rondé Barber loved him in the preseason. But one thing I love about preseason, whether it's back onto the roster guys that turn into starters or practice squad guys that turn into back end of the active roster guys, you get to learn a lot of these young players, and whether they stay with the Bucs or not, they end up being memorable. And Marquise Watts comes to mind last year. There's always some guys in preseason that turn heads that end up having a real impact, J-Lo, whether it's at the team they're turning heads for in preseason or they're claimed by another team down the road after being a roster cut. But nonetheless, preseason's a great floor and avenue for a lot of these guys, and it does them well to do well in preseason, or at least get some action in preseason. It's not only a tryout for your team, but you're really at the end of the day trying out for your football job to remain in the NFL.
Well, I'll do you one better. Ernest Graham, back in the day.
Ernest Graham, love that guy.
Mr. August, we used to call him, and then he actually became a big-time part of the team when Cadillac went down. That's another way I look at watching the preseason.
Don't forget Nick Leverett as well.
Nick Leverett, Clefton Smith,
And remember, J-Lo, he wasn't on the Bucs long, but one of my first interviews ever. Great guy. I don't know if you remember Super Bowl year, Javon Hagan, the safety. He had to step up a couple times. He had to play, but this was in 2020. He played against Green Bay. Javon Hagan was a reserve safety who actually had to end up playing in the playoffs because, remember, we were suffering injury after injury back there. Adams had to play a pretty good amount, our former safety, Andrew Adams. And then, clearly UDFAs matter to this team. Hagan isn't in the NFL anymore, but J-Lo, Jason Light always does a great job with getting UDFAs, it seems.
Oh yeah, I mean him and the scout team. To me, they're elite. They know how to pick up certain UDFAs, and they turn out to be a big part of the team, whether special teams, offense, defense. I mean, he's pretty good at plucking some good ones. Even ones that get released, will get cut from other teams. We'll pit them up and utilize them and capitalize better.
The great JT Olson in the house from Bucs Report. Great Bucs coverage. If any of you guys want to keep up with his work on Twitter or X, it's at Ice Water Olson. Incredible stuff over there. He does well, and Bucs Report does good stuff too. So very good, JT. Hope you're having a great Saturday and going to enjoy some preseason. Although it's preseason, hope you enjoy some football today. Hope to have you on the pod soon as well. That'd be awesome to get the great JT Olson of Bucs Report on the program. Richard Cambrate, great UDFA pickup. Yeah, I used to have his jersey hanging. He's actually from my hometown of Naperville. So Cambrate's a local legend, and he's a Tampa. Great player, great character. Bucs had him, then let him go, went to the Saints a little bit. I'm glad the Bucs got him back because at one point in time, he was a very, very good, productive tight end. And then as time went on, he ended up being Mr. Reliable / a great mentor, J-Lo. And that's another example of why preseason matters. You get a guy like Cam Brate, and next thing you know, he's on the team 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
I mean, hey, making Cam Brate again. That was like the little slogan that
make Cam Brate again. That was epic.
That was my favorite slogan. I think he even got one of his wallpaper on the stadium. You know how they do the players on the corner of the stadium? I think there's 1 year they put him up there, so that's another big one. I can't believe we didn't mention him. Good job, Richard. Thanks for memory lane, bro.
Yeah, and BB King says we stole him from the Saints. I talked about that a little bit, but remember, BB, at the same time, we did steal him from the Saints, but he was a Buck, and then he went to the Saints. So the Bucs had him first, then he went to the Saints, then he came back to the Bucs. So it was a little poach here, poach there, but remember in 2014, the Bucs actually signed him, and then 2015, the Saints got him back, and then he ended up coming back to the Bay. JT says anytime. That would be great. You know what, J-Lo? We got to get JT and JC on at the same time. JT, JC, all the J's in the house.
Oh, yeah, bet, man. All day, man. You can't go wrong with J's in there.
Speaking, J's, yeah, what type of J's? No, I'm kidding, but we got a lot of good J's that could get passed around. Speaking of J's, we have another one joining. As Olive says, hey, fellas. Hey, Olive, how the hell are you? Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Saturday morning. Sorry if you guys can't understand Cleve and me. He talks some wrestling gibberish sometimes. It's all good in the hood, though. We do have they debut the OTC, whatever the hell that is. But Cleve and me's own Joey Nips is here. The second head of the table will refer to you on these Saturday showdowns. But we're looking forward to a great. Yeah, I thought your hand was permanently stuck, or if you had to use the bathroom or something. I'm like, yeah, you could go. But welcome, man. It's going to be a fun 2024 season. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, absolutely. This show is going to be amazing. One of the best shows out there. You guys already do a great job with Buccaneers coverage. I'm here to add a little stimulus and motivation to the rest of the National Football League in college. So I'm ready to go. I'm a Bucs fan myself, been a Baker Mayfield fan for years. Cleveland did a dog-ass job of getting rid of him. We don't get into that, but I'm a big Bucs fan. Go to a game every year in Tampa on the road. We'll be in KC this year, so mainly Colts, but let's get it NFC-wise. Buccaneers. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs, baby. I love it.
If you guys are just tuning in, we are going to be doing Saturday showdowns every Saturday throughout the college football and NFL season for 2024, 2025. We'll be going live 10:30 a.m. Eastern, front half Bucs talk, back half both Bucs and NFL, NCAA football. Richard says the only Cam I like, unlike Cam Newton or Cam Jordan. Yeah, Cam Brate is the only Cam I like as well. Big Bud Cannibalist checks in. I was going to put a Where's Waldo out for you. I was getting nervous, but one of our main viewers, Bud, checks in. But as we do get Joey here, guys, we are 2 weeks away from college ball. Week 0, we're going to talk about it briefly here, but it kind of comes, and now that the college football playoffs is expanded, I think you have a lot of legitimate opportunities for new playoff teams, such as Florida States of the world, such as Florida Gators of the world, Penn State's, Notre Dame's. I think it's going to open the door for a lot of these programs out there. And we are only 2 weeks away from football counting for real between college and NFL. Joey, I'll start with you. I like the job that college does to supplement the NFL before NFL kicks in. You know, you get week 0 to give you a little taste. Then that Thursday, if you look at the opening Thursday of college football, which I believe would be the 28th, August 28th, August 27th, something like that. But there's like 20 games on that night. On a Thursday, it's like, holy shit. And then that Friday, there's 7. So, Joey, thoughts on the 2024 college football season, what we're working with there, and kind of them handling things while NFL takes a little break, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going through the schedule now, and it ends on Fox with North Carolina, Minnesota on August 29th of Thursday. So a good about 8 games ranging from, the 5 o'clock Eastern hour all the way up to 8 o'clock Eastern. And then, like you said, it carries through the weekend. They do a good job with the week 0 of getting us, a good taste ready for the season. They usually put a few primetime games into that spot. Even Eastern Illinois locally plays Illinois. That's always fun for us graduates who went there. But I like it. They set the stage. They do what they got to do, and people tune in early to see what these teams are like. Every game counts. It is 12 playoff teams now, but even if you lose one game, if you're one of these teams on the border and you lose week 0, week 1 to a team that you're supposed to beat, it hurts you right off the bat. So you can't take anything for granted starting with week 0.
Couldn't agree more. As the Godfather, James Rubreut's joining us on Facebook. Atlanta's own radio station, WQEE, is tuned in as well. But yeah, week 0, get your feet wet. Then that Thursday, Friday, with no NFL on yet, boom, get a good plethora of games. And there's some good games ready to roll. Godfather says, good morning, men. Let's get ready for some football. J-Lo, your thoughts on week 0 and Joey's comments as well.
Oh, no, it's very exciting. The first weekend overall, my Gators play the U Saturday, but I get a little fun treat, a couple of days before all these games happening. I think we're going to have a very interesting season. I think we're going to have one of these teams like a Penn State or Notre Dame that may come out of nowhere and go deep into the playoffs when it comes. That's all I got to say for now.
And the college season gets started, of course, with the overseas game in Ireland nowadays over there. So Florida State, Georgia Tech will be that one this year. And then a couple of other games, week 0, 2 weeks from today. Montana State takes on New Mexico. SMU, Nevada is probably the second best game of the day. And then it ends with Delaware State, Hawaii. So a lot of college football to come. But like we said, that Thursday, there's like 20 damn games. Ends with North Carolina, Minnesota, which will be a fun one. Another one to keep your eye out on that night as well would be Howard against Rutgers. And Howard's one of those HBCUs that seems to play tough and play hard. And Rutgers is led by Greg Schiano. So that'll be not a look-me-over game for the men of Rutgers by any means. But, fellas, we have a lot of NFL football on our hands to get to today and talk about. Joey, thoughts on where the Colts lie today and what you're looking, or tomorrow, I should say, as they play tomorrow. So what you look for out of the Colts this weekend. Anthony Richardson looks like he's going to be ready to roll this season. I'm really looking forward to see how he looks in year 2. I think the Colts are going to be a team that some people sleep on this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We play that scumbag Sean Payton as well, so we all are familiar with that.
That jag-off.
Correct. So we'll battle that. They'll have to put in all their starters because they're, a mini squad. They're like the Toon squad right now. Not a lot of good going on in Denver. But Colts perspective, AR's back. Jonathan Taylor is back healthy. This team's going to be ready to rock and roll. We're not, as long as we stay healthy. A lot of people are going to talk about Houston, let them have their fun. I already saw Stephon Diggs, Tones. You sent the video of him already complaining a little bit last night. You love to see that, expected. But this Colts team under Shane Steichen, one of the better offensive minds in football, is really going to have this team elevated to a new level. We went 9-8 with Gardner Minshew and Zach Moss leading the way last year. Again, you replace those with Richardson and Taylor. To me, that's 1 or 2 wins jumping right off the bat. And another thing, I'm just glad we don't play the Bucs this year. I think it's been 3 straight years we've gone head to head. It seems like we switch off a lot of time who wins and loses. But for Pops' sake and everybody else, I'm glad we don't play each other. But I'm expecting big things from the Colts. Wild card division, I'm going 10-11 wins, and I'm excited on NFL Network tomorrow at 1 Eastern against the Denver Broncos.
And the cool thing I like about the preseason as well is BB King makes a great point. Carl the Truth Williams was one of the Bucs' best UDFAs with an 8-year career. Yeah, and he came from a little small Texas A&M Kingsville college. So he went undrafted, ended up winning the Super Bowl here, ended up having a nice lengthy career with the Bucs. And after the Bucs, he played a year with the Cardinals. So he did well with himself, and he was a return specialist. So that really helped him out. And I always tell everybody the best way to make a roster for UDFAs is by special teams opportunities. If you get those opportunities, you run with them. So great job in pointing out Carl the Truth Williams. Bud Cannibalist said, had my redraft league last night, got a Mayfield, Godwin, Rashad, and it's a lock for me now. Let's talk a little bit of fantasy while it's at the forefront. J-Lo, thoughts? If you can name one Buck player to look out for in fantasy this year outside of Evans, we'll roll with. Who are you choosing? Then we'll go into Joey's thoughts on the Colts.
Shit, give me K. Dotton, man. Give me Big 88, man. I think
you think he'll be a fantasy threat for tight end spot?
Absolutely, tight end one, man. Him and Baker built a nice chemistry toward the end of the season, especially in that wild card game against Philly. I mean, he was pretty much lining them up, when it came to the Baker and K-Don connection. So that's one Buck player I'll put out there for sure.
Some Colts love from Bud Cannibalist has got to say, next to Captain Fair, Big Blue is my favorite mascot. Blue is incredible. His belly's awesome. He just, bulldozes people with that thing. Speaking of Blue, Joey, we'll go with you now. We'll get your opinion. Name one Buck and one Colt in fantasy you're looking out for this year. We'll take K-Dot off the board for the Bucs and obviously Mike Evans as well. But if you can name one Buck and one Colt to make fantasy impacts this year, Joey, where are you headed with that?
You're my boy, Blue, as we say in old school. But no, let's stick to the Bucs first. I actually want to go with the guy throwing him the ball. His name's not a surprise, Baker Mayfield, but I think you can get great value on a Baker Mayfield this year. He's not going to be in the top fives where Mahomes is going to go, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons. That's okay if you don't get one of those guys right off the bat. Wait a little bit. Let the value sink in. Baker Mayfield in year 2 now with this team. I know it's a different OC, but it's the same players. I feel like he's going to even improve upon a really good year he had last year. So I think that will take a step up. And you look on the Colts side of things, honestly, from a value perspective, if you're really digging deep in there and you got to look at running back 2s, which a lot of teams have to do, Trey Sermon out of the Ohio State University is going to be backing up Jonathan Taylor this year. And unfortunately, Jonathan Taylor has had his injury woes here and there the last couple of seasons. So you're going to have a running back that can provide some value. So if you're digging deep and a lot of running back 2s are gone and you're not sure about the Trey Sermon, you are now running back 2 for the Colts. Good value at the end of the draft.
Yeah, Trey's battled some tough injuries throughout his career, but seems to have found his footing in Indianapolis. We're going to get into the Amari Cooper rumors and Ayuk rumors and so much more here as you guys are joining us on our Saturday Showdown official football kickoff show for the 2024-2025 season. We'll be here every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time to run down Bucs preview, college football previews, NFL previews, fantasy chatter, gambling chatter, and so much more, all of that good stuff. Richard says Rachaad White is my sleeper to pick up. I think he'll be a good pickup. I think Bucky will be pretty productive this year, but I think Rachaad White still shares the majority of those touches in that backfield. So I'm very much so looking forward to Rachaad White as a fantasy guy this year. And if you had Rachaad White down the stretch last year, he was incredible, and he really paid dividends. Bud says Pittman Jr.'s stock is up this year. He's going Pittman Jr., so that's a good choice for the Colts as well, especially if Josh Down remains down. He got hurt this week, and that's the thing that sucks, but it just goes to show it doesn't have to happen in a preseason game. Everybody's always arguing preseason causes injuries. Well, look at Josh Downs in practice, or look at Rondale Moore on the Falcons. I mean, he's out for the year, Rondale Moore on the Falcons. And you look at the Lions, they suffered a season-ending injury from a backup lineman. So before we get to Ayuk and Cooper, J-Lo, we'll start with you, then go to Joey on this one. J-Lo, thoughts on preseason as a whole? Are you in favor of keeping it at 3? I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to go to 2, but if you could pick one or the other, J-Lo, keep it at 3 or trim it to 2.
I say trim it to 2, just because injuries do happen in the preseason. I think every NFL team only needs really 2 games to really like warm up and stuff before they start the season. So I'm all for trimming it down to 2.
Joey, your thoughts on that? I want to keep it at 3 only because, and I know I'm in the minority here, but once we get to that 18-game regular NFL season, it's going to cause more load management bullshit. It's going to cause more headaches on the roster. And again, I love more football. I'm all for more football. I'm here to see it. But at the end of the day, when a team clinches a division by week 16 or 17, that'll alter things too, because then next thing you know, instead of only resting your starters 1 week, you might rest them for 2 weeks because 18 regular season games. Look at the Chiefs this year. They might not have anybody keep up with them for 18 regular season games. They might have that division clinched by week 15 unless Harbaugh has something to say about it, but I doubt it. So I think it could do more harm than foul, but obviously the NFL's a league about their money, a league about their checkbooks, and that's where 18 regular season games would come in. Joey, I think I'm in the minority. I'd keep it how it is now. I think 17 is perfect. 3 is perfect. But one benefit it would cause, a lot of people would have the day off after the Super Bowl, as it would be President's Day. We'd get that expanded bye week in there, quote unquote, because remember, it will be the same amount of games, regular and preseason combined. But odds are we'd get a second bye week, which would push the NFL back to President's Day weekend for Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, listen, people get hurt at any time, any place. Not only Josh Downs is out 4 to 6 weeks for the Colts. Samson Ekobom went down, our starting defensive end. So these people need to practice and play. You know, people forget about the back end of the roster. Everybody always wants to name the stars and everything. It's not always about that. The smaller amount of time you get these younger guys / borderline cuts on the practice field / preseason games, the less you get to see them. These games are important to a certain extent. I was fine cutting down 1. I'm not a fan of 18 regular season games like most people are in the NFL. 17 is perfect. I don't, extra bye week, load management, all that stuff. This ain't the NBA, okay? This is the National Football League. People are going to get injured in practice. People are going to get injured when they're at home on vacation doing something stupid. Things happen. Simple. You don't have to play your starters if you don't want somebody to get hurt. Get the guys out there. You got new rules coming in every year. Look at the kickoff. There's going to be your average basic NFL fan who turns on the TV week 1 and goes, what the F is this new kickoff? You got to implement things. You got to work on 55 through 80 on these rosters. You got to have film. You got to have tape. Keep as is. Stop draining this thing, because the more you drain it, the less the players get on the field. And to me, that creates more potential for injury.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, and we are here on our Saturday Showdown, but the injury potential is valid. Jay, hey, yo, guys, preseason week 1. Well, it depends where you look.
Must have missed the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a never-ending debate what week it really is, but I consider it week 2 because we had football last week, Jay. We did have a game last week, and if you look on Google, look up NFL scores, first thing that pops up is preseason week 2. If you go to gambling sites, it says preseason week 2, but then you have ESPN that says it's week 1. So whatever. If you want to really get that nitpicky, good for you. But I count the Hall of Fame game last week as a game and as a game this weekend. How could you discredit the Hall of Fame game? How could you pretend like that doesn't happen? As Neil says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our guy Neil in the house. As Neil always says, hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. So Neil is in the house, obviously great. We love our friend Neil. Speaking of love, it seems like the Browns love Brandon Ayuk, and maybe not as much on Amari Cooper as we thought, and now there might be hard feelings and love lost there, fellas. Amari Cooper, and yeah, that's great stuff. I do appreciate Cleve and me. Joey be in the comments front. That's some good stuff there, as it's always J-Lo seems like he's always in Neverland or something like that, but love the guy. But no, I'm just kidding, J-Lo. But nonetheless, guys, Amari Cooper put out on his Instagram story that maybe it's time for him to get out of Cleveland after they kind of threatened to trade him for Brandon Ayuk. Joey, thoughts on that? The Ayuk situation, now the Amari Cooper drama. I mean, it seems like wide receivers are one thing consistent, and that's drama, drama, drama.
Yeah, and look, if you look at the Cleveland Browns division, it's going to be a bloodbath. The Bengals are coming back healthy. The Steelers under Mike Tomlin do never go under 500. And we know what the Ravens are capable of now, adding what I still think is a good Derrick Henry. People that say he's over the hill, go look at the tape. You'll speak otherwise. In this wide receiver room, you have Judy, you have Cooper, you have David Bell, but you should add Ayuk into this mix and become more explosive. Deshaun Watson, massage man, needs all the help he can get. He's not the same guy that he was in Houston. Could he maybe get there? Yes, but we have not seen it yet. We need to see a full season out of him. And what better way to supplement him with Nick Chubb, who's getting back, Ayuk, Cooper, and Elijah Moore along with Jerry Jeudy? That team would be so explosive. To me, if I'm Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns, I go all out, get the GM to do what he needs to do and try to blow out this season, because if they have a bad year, there's going to be changes in Cleveland. So, Cooper, come on now. You're going to get yours. Just hang in there. You'd be a part of a good team. Try to win a division.
I think so as well. I'd keep my head in the game if I'm Amari Cooper. You'll get more open this year just by them having Jerry Jeudy if he could stay on the field. And, that running back room, hopefully, it seems like it can never stay healthy. So hopefully this year that changes for Cleveland. But J-Lo, thoughts? I agree. I think Amari Cooper should, put his head down and play some football. Your name's going to pop up in trade rumors. So you can't doubt the Browns for at least trying to upgrade that position. But another thing I don't get, J-Lo, it seems like to me, not a knock against Brandon Ayuk. He's a very good wide receiver, but I think he's getting a little too much love. I think people are overhyping him a little bit. I personally think he's a lower on number one. I know he's had some good stats of late, but we got to remember Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey are all a big part of that offense for that reason as well.
Agreed. To me, he's a system receiver, honestly. I'm not saying he's not a number one, but that remains to be seen if he does get dealt to a team and he's going to be the number one. Amari Cooper, to me, I feel he's one of the best route runners in the league. And for him, to feel how he feels, honestly, it kind of sucks because, he'll get traded again, This will be the third time if he does get traded, because, he played in Oakland, Vegas, whatever, got traded to Dallas. Dallas, I think, made a mistake trading him and keeping Michael Gallup. That was a bad move on them that they're going to have to pay for. But Cooper, I agree. I mean, I would be all for adding more talent to spread the ball around. I mean, that's what the Bucs did in 2020, bringing in AB, and then you had Godwin, Evans. You can never have enough receiver talent on that roster. And I'm with Joey. I mean, why not bring in, Brandon Ayuk and have the big three if Judy can stay healthy and help Mr. Massage Man if he can,
Well, Cooper would be
season.
going back if they did get Ayuk.
Oh, wait, say it again. I'm sorry, Tones.
Cooper would be part of the Ayuk trade and head back.
Oh, see, to me, that is just, this is a guy, this is why I think that's I didn't even know that either.
And that's why Amari Cooper came out and disdain on Instagram saying he's not sure if he wants to be a Brown, because the rumors had it that they would have traded him to the Niners. But hey, if I'm Amari Cooper, I'd gladly take that trade.
Absolutely. This is a guy who's had over 70 receptions in the past 2 seasons, over 1,000 yards, averaging about 15 to 17 yards per catch. To me, that's not helping Cleveland a lot by getting rid of a good receiver and getting another one. I don't like it.
Oh, but here's another thing that scares me. I wouldn't want him going to the Niners because I feel like he would totally go off in San Francisco. I think, like I said, he's one of the best route runners, and I think he would be a bigger addition because, to me, Ayuk is a system guy at this point until he proved himself on another team. That's just my opinion. And Cooper going to the Niners will be scary, so I hope that doesn't happen.
And as Bud Cannibalist says, it blows me away how teams are willing to trade him. I agree, and we are in preseason mode. We're in game day mode on our Saturday Showdown show. We're going to pick a preseason game, not including either of our teams to look out for. And for those of you that missed it, we're going to run through it now. Thursday, we had a couple. Lions got taken down by the Giants 14-3. Panthers, Dave Cannell is still waiting to score a touchdown. They got taken down 17-3 by the Patriots. Couple of rookie quarterbacks looked okay for New England. Dolphins 20-13 over Atlanta. Texans 20-12 over the Steelers. Both of those games happened last night. And to round out Friday night was Eagles 16-13 over the Ravens. Now today's lineup looks as followed. Noon, you have Commanders, Jets, noon Eastern time. Bears, Bills at 12 o'clock, noon Eastern as well. Raiders, Vikings at 4 o'clock Eastern. Packers, Browns, 4:25. Chiefs, Jags, 7 o'clock tonight. Bucs, Bengals, 7 o'clock tonight. Niners, Titans, 7 o'clock. Then you get into the 7:05 affair with Seahawks, Chargers. And then 8 o'clock Eastern, Saints, Cardinals. And tomorrow, Broncos, Colts, 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. Cowboys, Rams at 4:30 Eastern. One thing I love about the preseason time slots, fellas, NFL, I do like it. The standard for Eastern time, it's 1, 4:25, and then 8:15. For preseason, though, they play to their time zones. So, for instance, you have 11 o'clock Central kickoffs today instead of 12 o'clock. And then at night, next week, we start getting into the West Coast night games. You'll get a game at 9 or 10 o'clock Central PM kickoff. It feels like college football where games are happening all over the place. But Joey, thoughts on what preseason game this weekend has your eye, or if it was completed already, either Friday or Thursday, which one was it?
Yeah, I'm taking my talents to Buffalo, where locally, as we all, Tones and I are from Chicago. I'm not huge on Caleb Williams, but I do believe he was the best quarterback prospect in this draft. And I know they're not going to do the whole entire playbook or thing. I just want to see him on the field in an NFL game in a Bears uniform. Going to have some buddies be watching with me. They're going to be all excited about the new era in Chicago under Coach Matt Eberflus. And I want to see where it goes with new OC Shane Waldron from Seattle, now headed over to Chicago. So looking forward to see Caleb Williams play. I'm not sure what Buffalo is going to do fully starter-wise, but I know the Bears are going to have all their healthy starters playing. So I'm looking forward to the USC guy going all the way to Buffalo, New York to play his first NFL football game.
Yeah, and even if he plays a snap or a couple drives, it'll be interesting to see. And he was kind of one of those QBs who have been really hyped. The hype died a little bit last year when a couple things happened. USC hit a snag in the road. Caleb Williams started acting a little bit goofy, but nonetheless, he was very much so hyped, and he's kind of one of those next big QB prospects who were hyped to see how he will be doing. He was very much so hyped, and way more than Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and those quarterbacks taken behind him. So Caleb Williams' football journey starts today. Chicago's a hostile market. Hopefully he gets off on the right foot, even though it's preseason. J-Lo, not including the Bears, the Bucs, or the Colts games now. What preseason game intrigues you the most, either today or tomorrow?
I'm going to have to say the noon game with the Commanders and Jets. I'm looking, kind of get a feel for how Jaden Daniels is going to perform, get a feel and scout, what we're going to be looking at week one. Like Joey said, maybe not all the playbook, but at least get an idea of what some of these players look like, especially Jaden Daniels. So give me Jets and Commanders.
Yeah, and before we welcome the great Gene from Buck What You Heard into the program on the back end of the show to help us wind some things down, I'm rolling with a different game I'll pick as well, but I'm interested to see Raiders-Vikings, 4 o'clock Eastern today. Couple of rookie quarterbacks in there. You get McCarthy, you get Raiders, I'm just interested to see how they shape up altogether. I think that their team sadly takes a big step back this year for the Raiders, and I'm not knocking him. I think Antonio Pierce did an admirable job filling in for them last year and all their such, and I think he could be an interesting head coach this year. They surrounded him with coaching help, as we do get some little bit of rumblings going on right now, it seems. So we'll let Gene settle in seemingly, but the quarterback room for the Raiders, it seems like we get a bunch of backup quarterbacks.
What the hell are they doing?
I know you get
Adams was mad last year.
You put Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, and Anthony Brown in a quarterback room. That's a bunch of, to me, backup quarterbacks there. And then you get rookie quarterback out of South Alabama, Carter Bradley. So I'm interested to see how much they play him, but I can't really tell the direction this Raiders team's going. That's why I'm interested to see how they do. And then J.J. McCarthy on the other hand. But Gene, if we do have you, how the hell are you doing, brother? Happy Saturday.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I'm on my phone, so if I sound weird, let me know.
No, you sound great as always, brother.
The game I was looking forward to is yesterday. I wanted to see the Atlanta Falcons, the world beater, the greatest team in the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons. Just kind of see what they have as far as talent goes. And I wasn't disappointed. I look at their offensive line, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to take a lot to I really didn't see any prospects that I was, thrilled with, just basic play and stuff. I think Penix is going to be decent. Just first game, I know you're playing against other rookies, vanilla play calling and everything. So who knows? He may be competing, maybe the beginning of next season. I don't know. But that was the game I wanted to see. I know it was preseason. You can't read a whole lot into it. But it's just kind of good to see the division rivals and any possible prospects because we do play them twice a year. So it's always good to be on top of that.
Yeah, you're not lying there, Gene. That's why I was intrigued in the Panthers game on Thursday as well to see what they had to offer. Didn't look like too much, obviously. It's only preseason week 2. Many teams game 1, whatever the hell you want to call it, but wasn't too impressed with Canales early on there. Since we do have Gene, we'll get Gene and Joey's thoughts on today's Bucs Bengals game. We'll preview that one more time in the back half. Gene, thoughts on tonight's game? 7 o'clock Eastern. Chris Myers, Rondé Barber on the call in Cincinnati. We're expected to see a heavy dose of Trask and Wolford, and then briefly maybe Burrow, but a heavy dose of Browning on Cincinnati's behalf.
Hey, it's all about talent evaluation. As fans, we're looking to see who we're going to see throughout the regular season. Is there anybody that stands out? People that are making the plays that they're putting out there. These are vanilla plays. All you have to do is go out and execute at a high level. And, that's what you want to do on each play. So definitely looking forward to that. Want to check out the linebackers. I'm looking at the linebackers and the defensive line are the two biggest pieces that I'm actually looking at with this team to see what they do, see who could potentially stand out amongst the rest of them.
I agree with you, Gene, and Bud Cannibalist does as well. More focus on the defensive depth tonight, and I think our defense is in good hands with the coaching staff assembled defensively. Obviously, you got your great defensive-minded head coach, Todd Bowles, leading this team to the playoffs in back-to-back years. Blows my mind how some people still want him gone, but that's a whole nother pod story. And then you got Casey Rogers and Larry Foote over there as well, who are some great talent evaluators and coaches to me too. Joey, if we could get your thoughts on Bucs Bengals, what are you looking out for? Anything lights your eyes up, or just thoughts on the game in general?
Yeah, listen, I love the Buccaneers starters, but as I look at the depth chart, I'm looking at a few areas of depth where I need to see a little bit more. You're always one injury away from being a backup having to go in. I started at the quarterback position. I've seen Trask and Wofford live and playing role games. If Baker were to go down, God forbid, one of those guys got to step up. I'm not sure I feel too confident in either yet. Rachaad White, love him as a starter, but if he went down, between Bucky Irving, Chase Edmonds, what are you going to get there? If you get a tight end, especially K-Dot and, is Peyton Durham or Ko Keefe, guys that have been up and down going to step up. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Gene talked about it, but depth there, linebacker, and, I like that they have Golson and Nelson back. Those are some good veteran backups, but just in the secondary, a little bit more concerned with some of the backups. So this isn't about the starters. We talked about it in the preseason. It's about the depth. I love the Bucs on paper starter-wise, but I need to see a little bit more from these guys that could be next in line within one injury away.
I couldn't agree more, and that's a great battle test for preseason. You kind of get to see a couple things and whatnot. And I think J-Lo's going down, it sounds like. J-Lo.
Hands up, J-Lo.
J-Lo's on the run. I'm just kidding around. But preseason.
I didn't do it.
Hey, if the glove don't fit, right? But
Never has.
Exactly. Town's on fire.
Hey, anyway, I'm looking forward to Bucs Bengals, looking forward to all the preseason and seeing how some things shake out. But I will answer a question I forgot. I'm sorry, BB King did ask earlier where McMillan's getting drafted in most fantasy drafts. I'm going to be honest with you, BB King. If it's a straight up redraft league, he's not getting drafted in pretty much a good chunk of them at this time. And if he does, it's in the later rounds, last couple of rounds. You can't really expect anybody to kind of draft him early on when you got Evans, Godwin, Rashad White, Trey Palmer, Cade Otton on the team as well. You got to give it a couple games. And then if McMillan breaks out, I guarantee you his stats will rise, and so will his fantasy ownage percentage. Speaking of rise, Gene, Monday night here on the Buccaneers and Buck What You Heard, we're doing the rise of the Bear draft. I'm excited for that. We laid out the bracket the other night. Joey has a couple recommendations in there, as do you, J-Lo, and myself, as does a couple of listeners as well. So I'm looking forward to finding out the Buck What You Heard Buccaneers Bear for the 2024 season.
You know, I've taste tested two out of the brackets, 2 brackets so far, and I've got my answer on 2. I still have 2 to go.
Looking forward to that.
I'm home alone, so you know it's no pressure now. I can kind of do what I want to. I mean, like a kid in a candy store right now. So
I could just imagine you today having fun, Gene. You get a couple of beers cracked, you get your cookbook out, you got some preseason on.
I had champagne and tacos last night for dinner.
Oh,
Ooh la la.
So I'm on it, man.
He says, screw the preseason, bring on the regular season, baby.
Yeah, man. You know, last night I was watching Rough and Rowdy. I don't know if you guys watched the Tough Man contest. So I love sports. I love boxing. And they have 2 different boxing events. Barstool does Rough and Rowdy, and then there's another one called Redneck Brawl. I like Redneck Brawl more because they're like a little bit more raunchy. They cuss a lot more and all this other stuff. But that's my choice. But when they have them on, it is so they have like 20 to 30 fights, just one after the other, and it's so entertaining. So last night I was watching that. I think next time it comes on, I'm gonna go live just to cover it, man, because it's so awesome. And so that's what I saw. I did, you know, I watched that. They had the ring girl competition after all that, but it was just entertainment. And so just this week has just been action packed for me.
How can you watch that? What do you watch that through?
Actually, I watch it on my Fire Stick, and I'll leave it. I'm not to incriminate myself or anything, but I'll just leave it at that.
Good enough.
But if you're following them on Twitter or if you're following on Instagram, there's a link to get the pay-per-view. It's only $20. I mean, it's not like super expensive. Yeah, but I promise you, it's worth the money. I have never been to this point. I've gone and watched Mayweather fights and spent a lot of money on Mayweather fights and walked away disappointed. But this right here, man, I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. And I would love to. I wish I could actually go to one because it's just a wild event. I mean, it's like at the end of the main event fight, there was a brawl in the middle of the ring. The police arrested the guy that lost.
Holy shit!
But I'm telling you, there was out of all the fights, there were I would say 4 fights that weren't knockouts. Everybody was getting. It was fun. It was West Virginia, so Redneck Brawl. They had Oklahoma versus Texas. They've done Ohio versus what's next to Ohio?
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, Ohio. They've got rival states. So these guys come in and they talk trash about, they represent their area code. And it's just entertaining to me. I love it.
No, that's a great time. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm going to have to check it out. As Bud says, legal. Yeah, we'll leave it at that, Bud. As, we said, we'll leave it at that. But Bud said in his comment before as well, McMillan and his when Dynasty League, and that's the thing with Dynasty Leagues, man. To me, as much as I love them, guys go a little too high, and it's hard to anticipate their futures. But McMillan and
I'm going to say this: the season is going to be long. Your guy could coop you some points. He could get you some points. At some point in the season, I would personally say, just that's kind of how you have to look at it long term if you're drafting.
exactly, and it's especially this early on. It's still preseason. There's still roster battles to be made. Like Gene said, it's a long season, so nothing against it. But McMillan in round 2, I think he might have gotten a little overlofted, but who knows? Maybe underlofted as well. As we are here on the Buccaneers Saturday Showdown, our 2024-2025 football preview kickoff show, college football, NFL talk, fantasy talk, Bucs talk, of course, and obviously at the forefront, beer talk, food talk, fight night talk with Gene. Anything you could talk about, we're always willing to do, and we'll be back from here on out, the remainder between now and Super Bowl weekly here Saturdays. So be on the lookout every Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on the Buccaneers pod. Going to be great. We'll have many great guests, many great people, many great conversations to be had. Gene, I know you joined a little later. So before we get to our final words, anything you may have missed out on or anything you want to bring up before our final words segment?
Yo, I am just happy football is here. I'm glad to be hanging out with you guys. You really made the off season just go by so fast, and I can't wait to have you guys on Buck What You Heard so we can chop it up. I would like to get you guys on not this week but next week when the Bucs, not next week but the week after when the Bucs play the Dolphins. I do have a podcaster, Miss Fins, that's going to be coming on, and we can hit her up with some questions and kind of get to know about the team that we've been practicing with, had joint practices with, and how that team's going to look this year. I mean,
yeah.
My biggest question is how the hell did Tyreek Hill be ranked as the number 1 football player in the NFL when as much as I hate Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes owns that.
Yeah.
Because, if you look at the Super Bowl last year, there's no way any other quarterback other than Tom Brady is not winning that game last year. So I just say that, and I know that's a bold statement, but Patrick Mahomes is a freak, and he's more than proven what he's capable of. One Super Bowl win is a one-off. 2 Super Bowl wins, well, you got to kind of question it, but what this guy has done. And the only team that's taking him out, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But
Gene, you're threatening to get taken out right now. Emily's saying she'll knock your ass out.
Damn, you got nothing.
Wow,
He got jacked up.
Holy shit!
Hey, tell Emily and name the alley. I'll be there. I'm just a plane ticket away, baby.
Gene against Emily, round 1 of Buccaneers fight nights, and that'll be. And Bud rang the bell, so it's official, guys. We got it all. Joey and J-Lo, quick, based on Gene's comments, do you agree with Tyreek Hill being the top player, or would you have went Mahomes or someone else, Joey?
I mean, I would have went somebody else. I mean, if you're a defensive back, I guess so. Tyreek Hill is a tough person to game plan for with his elite speed and route running. But at the end of the day, he left Kansas City, and Kansas City moved on like he was chop liver for the most part. I mean, it just is what it is. They won Super Bowls. They keep going to them, not missing a beat there. So, yes, he is a great player. He could take the top off of defense. He could take a screen deep. But to me, unless you're a defensive back / maybe, strong safety, free safety, I would look at more of a Patrick Mahomes and other players. I mean, people just ignore the defensive side of the ball. You have a lot of great pass rushers in this league. Cleveland Browns, I'm losing and blanking right now off the top of their best.
Myles Garrett.
Thank you. I mean, that guy, say what you want about him sometimes, but that guy just wrecks games. I've seen him personally get 14 points for the Browns against the Colts last year when they had PJ Walker at quarterback, and that's why they won, is because Garrett is a game wrecker. So there's other places people ignore, but no, I would not go Tyreek Hill. Maybe if we're going by baby mamas, he'd be in the lead, but not at number 1 in the top 100.
Yeah, and before we get to J-Lo's thoughts on the top 100, I got some fun facts throughout the preseason so far, since we are talking preseason, from the great Greg Allman, from from Fox Sports. He covers all NFC South. Of 30 kickoff returns so far this preseason, fellas, the farthest field position has been the 36-yard line. So not a
I
lot of
love it.
breakthrough. Yeah, it's getting better than before, but not a ton of breakthroughs yet. But we are seeing teams try and break through the walls. And this one's where it gets fun. Of players handling kickoffs, out of the 24 players, this is how it breaks down. 11 receivers handled kickoffs, 10 running backs, 2 cornerbacks, and 1 quarterback. Steelers' John Rice Plumlee. So you're seeing a lot of different things there. The average preseason game starting position is 25.9 yard line. So you're seeing kickoffs provide about a yard different right there so far. And then other
You don't
than
have to worry
that,
about I'm sure the injuries. I think what we really need to do, and somebody needs to ask Greg if we can compare injuries, field position injuries, last year versus this year. I mean, when this year's over, because I'm really curious to see what that looks like.
I'll try and tweet at him and see. Greg usually has some pretty good stuff, but no, I'm very interested to see that as well. And then last but not least, total snaps by expected starting QBs in preseason games so far. CJ Stroud at 6, Brissett 4, then Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones, Tua, Wilson, and Young combined for 0 snaps collectively. J-Lo, thoughts quick on Tyreek Hill being NFL's best players, and we'll get to our final word and enjoy this football Saturday. Games are kicking off right now.
Yeah, Terry should be number one. I agree that Mahomes should be number one after what he's done the last 2 seasons. I don't know what the dealio is. Tyreek is a very talented wide receiver, but not number one overall in my book.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If I had to put a number 1 NFL player out there, I'm going with Mahomes. It's hard not to put Mahomes. And as much as you'd like to put anyone else, it is Mahomes right now, seemingly. And guys, we will get to our final word in a minute, but we do have Commanders Jets kicking off right now, noon Eastern time, to enjoy this Saturday. We got Jets, Commandos live, and as Mark Henry always used to say on AEW, that starts right now. But it's been a beautiful first Saturday showdown. I had a lot of fun talking everything from fantasy to Bucs to Colts to NFL preseason in general, college football, gambling football. So we tore this place down in a good way. We did it.
And the tribal chief is back.
Yeah, the tribal chief is back. Real quick before final words, or Gene, I guess that could be your final word. Give us the tribal chief talk and give us your final word in the same sentiment.
Acknowledge me.
is that how you're logging on?
That's how I'm logging on.
I acknowledge you, my tribal chief.
The wise man says he acknowledges you. Joey, give us your final word. And it's been a fun first Saturday showdown here on the Buccaneers. And, this is where we'll be this year. This is where you can find us.
Yeah, listen, it's all about the tribal chief. So, JC, if you're listening, I'm from Cleve and Me, at Cleve and Me on Twitter. We will get after you. We are the bloodline here. We are the bloodline. And the Rock's on the outside looking in. We don't take that candy ass here. But I'm looking forward to a great season of football. I'm a big Notre Dame fan. We alluded to a little bit of college football earlier. I can't talk about it enough. The 12-team playoff is a great idea. Your team won't be eliminated if you're not a powerhouse right after week 1. Penn State, a team that Tones loves, Notre Dame, for me, a bunch of others. Even the mid-market teams will have a chance. This is a great year for college football to try this out, and I'm really looking forward to the 12-team playoff in the college football.
And the crybaby Florida State fans ain't got nothing to say now. They're not going to win the national championship. They ain't got no excuses now.
Yeah, and Gene, I love that you say that because the past couple of years, Joey and I did a pregame show with a guy, Mac McGee. Good guy, nice guy. Got to meet this guy, but he was a Florida State fan, and you know, he kind of would always baby them a little bit. So now
Yep,
underneath,
the Cody crybabies are really Florida State fans.
Oh, easy now. Now sit on it, Joey. Come on now. Come on now, man. I dyed my hair blonde for that dude.
hey, maybe Royal Rumble week when we do this Saturday show, Joey could dye his hair blonde. We'll just have to keep his hands up where we can see him. But other than that, that'll be great. J-Lo, any final words for the Saturday Showdown's debut?
Yeah, Roman Reigns being back is awesome. I think he's going to create a lot more noise. Him being a face now, I guess, whatever he is. I love the Kevin Owens versus Cody. I think KO is going to go heel, which I prefer better. I'm a big KO supporter, and we'll see what happens. And by the way, Emily, shout out for issuing a challenge to Gene to knock his ass out. Let's fucking go. Mic drop.
Wow, Gene is getting called out.
I thought we were a team here, damn it.
J-Lo's flipping the script on Gene. I thought we just showed unity and came together. But Joey, thanks for joining us. He's got to run because his party. And I'll say this is my final word. For the final word, as Scott says, go Buccaneers, go Gators. I'll say this. Thank you so much for everybody. Bud, Ryan, Scott, Nikki, Olivia, Emily, Jay, and the rest of the people who okay, sorry. But the rest of the people who joined us to make Saturday Showdown, the first one, a success. We look forward to coming at you throughout the rest of your football season. And Bucs fans, my final word will be this. Remember, tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern, Bucs go to battle in Cincinnati. Rondé Barber, Chris Myers on the call. I can't wait for that one. Roster battles. Trask is starting. Going to be an awesome one. Football just started. Commanders at Jets. Go try and find it legally or some other way if not. But regardless, try and enjoy the day. Gene and J-Lo, love you guys. We'll talk Monday where we eliminate some beers. How about that?
Peace.
Fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs.
Touchdown McMullen.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to jump in, J-Lo. You went missing a little bit there. But better late than never. Love you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care, man. God bless.
Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs. Touchdown. Chase Edmonds up the gut. Let's go. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. I played with Brock and anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.